I posted 5,261 posts on Instagram to learn these 9 unexpected lessons, and I think they'll make a huge difference for the performance of your social media accounts. What's going on, guys? Uriel Kame, CEO and founder of Healthpreneur. We help health professionals build thriving coaching businesses without the grinds. And as you guys know, I'm a huge fan of paid ads and leverage and systems. And to be honest, I actually didn't use any social media for the first 3 years of Healthpreneur. When I started in 2017, I had no Instagram accounts, but 2 of my clients were twisting my arm. They're like, Yuri, you should really do this. And I was like, I don't want to post pictures of my food, but whatever. Let's learn about all this stuff. So over the next couple of years, learned some stuff and made some mistakes and built some business on it. And just for context, my first business, which was an online health and fitness business, started back in 2005. 100% of it for the first 7 years was content and social media. So what I'm sharing with you here is what I've recognized, at least over the past 18 months, with Healthpreneur's Instagram account. And there's some really interesting findings here that I think will make a huge difference for you. Again, I don't know if these same lessons apply to every single account, but here's what we've noticed in ours and obviously with some of our clients. So number 1 is that uglier is better. The more native your content looks, the less produced it looks, the better it's going to perform. So I'll give you an example of this. A lot of people focus on what their Instagram profile looks like they'll have like a pretty image and then they have to put a nice quote in there and then a pretty image. And then it's like this really interesting offset grid where they have pretty image, quote, pretty image, quote, pretty image. No one cares. No one cares about what that grid looks like other than you, okay? So here's the thing, is the uglier your stuff looks, the better it will perform. And this is very true nowadays because this is my thinking on this. Everyone is craving real, authentic humanness, not some AI, superficial, overly produced bullshit. I feel like vomiting in my mouth with the amount of content I see from influencers and content creators who are regurgitating other people's ideas. They're essentially producing book reports instead of field reports. Book reports are, I read this thing, try this. Field reports are like what I'm doing here. Here's what actually happened in our business. Here are some lessons from the trenches. And I don't know about you, but I cannot stand seeing people who are like, I'm a social media expert. Here are the top 20 viral ideas for 2025. And they have like 1,000 followers on their Instagram account. I love your YouTube, but I could definitely help you get more views. And I go to their YouTube channel and they got 200 subscribers. And I'm thinking to myself, I will never listen to you. So in a world of skepticism and low trust, when we're craving realness, authenticity, your content should look like that. So I'll give you an example. And these are things you just have to test, right? You have content that looks nice, cool. Let's just say a reel. You got a reel, beautifully produced, cool captions. Here's an example of something you could test to make it to look uglier and more native. You shoot the video on your phone. You upload it to stories and you add the captions from stories to the video. You know, like those native Instagram ugly looking captions? Use those ones and then download the video. So you don't even have to post it to stories, just save it to your phone and then upload that as a reel onto your feed. And it might work better and it might not, right? It's less about what it looks like and more about what is being said. And I've noticed this with our ads as well, right? So I took that as an example. We have a lot of produced video ads. And then I'm like, let me just make a butt ugly one where I'm like, it's 5 a.m. I kind of just woke up out of bed, walking through the kitchen and uploaded it to Instagram stories, put the captions on, downloaded it, ran as an ad, it did okay. I was like, let me make an even uglier version. So I took that and then I just made it monochrome. I just literally ran it through whatever filter, black and white, ran that and it performed even better. The best performing ad over the past 3 years for our business, and again, this is not Instagram specifically, this is just advertising, is when I look at this of myself, I'm like, this is one of the ugliest videos I could have ever wanted to shoot. My face is right by the window. My face looks red. I'm wearing a green Nike hoodie and I shot the video on a whim. That's it. That thing has produced millions of dollars in sales for us. And it's gotten tens of millions of views. Now that's an ad, but I'm sharing that because generally ugly works better because it's less produced and it flies under the BS radar that most of us have. So I'll give you another example of this. So carousel posts, those are big on Instagram, right? Like it's pretty, like keep swiping right for the next whatever. Our best performing carousels, we call them Twitter carousels. So they look like a Twitter post, like white with simple black text, no bold, no italics, no big headlines, no fancy images. And there's simply a lot of them. Just tip number 1, tip number 2, tip number 3. The most important thing is that they're useful. And because it looks so native, it works better because it's just not produced. And I'm telling you, if you test this stuff out, like you might be surprised about what you find. So the second big lesson here is Reels. This may not be surprising. Reels get about, for us, 75% of the reach is to non-followers. So if we want to grow our following, which I think most of us do, then it makes sense to produce more Reels. The format of the Reel simply triggers the algorithm to show it to more of your non-followers. So let's say you have a quote, you can post an image of that quote on your Instagram. Cool. It'll perform poorly, most likely, not because it's you, just because it is what it is. But if you take that same quote and you put it, like literally you can do this in Canva, and you download it as an MP4 file, it's still a static quote. It's just the file is an MP4 instead of like a JPEG, and you upload it to your feed, all of a sudden, that's gonna be shown to non-followers. And so Reels, if you wanna grow your following, you wanna produce more Reels because Reels natively are shown to people who don't already follow you. Third, carousels, in our case, get 95% follower reach. So Reels are great for building your following. Carousels are great for nurturing them. So once you bring people into your Reels, carousels are an amazing way to blow people's minds. And I tell this on my team, I'm like, guys, these carousels have to be so good that someone would be crazy not to save it. It literally has to be like a mini tutorial. So the 5 best questions to ask at the end of a sales call. Question 1, question 2, question 3, who would not want to save that? A carousel needs to be so useful. Like think of it as like, this has to be useful for someone in such a way that I'd save this. Think about the stuff that you save. The stuff that I save, they're not necessarily carousels all the time, but it's like exercises or stretches. And I'm like, man, I've never tried that before. Let me save that to my exercise collection and I can refer back to it. So your carousels are a really, really good way of creating savable content. What you'll find typically is carousels will get very high saves. Reels, depending on the content, obviously, might get more shares. Shares obviously are the number one engagement action to propagate virality, but you don't always want your stuff to go viral. We've had clients where their stuff has gone viral to the point where they've had Oscar-winning actors share their stuff, and now they have tens of thousands of new followers who are not their ideal clients. And now they have this whole mess they have to deal with. So think of your content as, am I speaking to my perfect clients? Don't worry about going viral. Speak to the people you want to serve. Slide aside, on our YouTube channel, our top 2 videos speak to not our perfect clients. Our number 1 video is how to build an online fitness coaching business. And to be honest, I was a fitness coach back in the day. Working with trainers and fitness coaches, they're not our best clients. In fact, some of them are pretty arrogant and not humble and not coachable. But the video has done so well for us, and it still adds a lot of value to a segment of our population that we've kept there. Our second most popular video on YouTube is my EA playbook that I work on or that I use with my executive assistant. That video has nothing to do with health professionals. But one of my clients like, hey, have you ever considered of shooting a video about this? Because I would have searched for this. So I'm like, you know what? That's a good idea. I will. And so now we have like all these views on this video where I'm like, comments are, well, I'm not a health professional. I'm an assistant. Is there any way I can get this playbook? I'm like, no, it's only for clients. Sorry, whatever. Hope you enjoyed it. And that's an example of sometimes your most viral content is not going to be the stuff that brings in your best clients. So just be very careful of that. Number 4, posting more stories per day equals less overall views on the stories. So I've got a good buddy of mine who posts one story a day. It's a picture with text overlaid and a link to his newsletter. He's grown his newsletter from scratch to like 400,000 people just by doing that. And he's been like, I've not seen him post more than one story per day, ever. One story. And when he's sharing this to me, he's like, I get like 5 times more reach when I do one story per day. And I was like, that's weird. So I started testing this and I'm like, so if we give our stories a breather for a couple hours and there's like nothing on there, and then we post one story and let it sit there for a day, it's through the roof. So again, think of the overall philosophy and strategy. If you are looking to get clicks on a story, like if you have for us, like if we're posting a YouTube video on Sunday and we want the maximum number of eyeballs on that, so there's more clicks to the YouTube video, it would make sense for us to only post that one story in that 24-hour period. But if I'm thinking differently around, I don't know, if strategically, if I wanted to post a ton of social proof, like here's a bunch of client wins, here's 20 of them, just enjoy, like social proof beyond, like it's just crazy. It's just overwhelming amounts of social proof, testimony, like 20 stories. Each one of those will get fewer and fewer views. But the purpose there is different. I want to overwhelm people with the idea like, holy shit, these guys actually like know what they're doing. And here's the proof. So it may not see as many people, but the people who do see it, they're gonna, in the back of their mind, they're thinking, when I'm ready, I'm working as a healthpreneur, if I qualify, right? So you got to think strategically about how you want to use stories. I would say if you're trying to get clicks to somewhere, one story per day is the way to go. If you want to indoctrinate people in something like social proof, or if you want to share behind the scenes of what you're doing in your life, you can have multiple stories. It's totally up to you. But I think it's worth testing at least one story a day. Just try it like once or twice a week and you'll see what happens. Number 5, I alluded to this earlier, is content that offers tangible solutions perform way better than mere information alone. So if you give someone a very, very useful thing to do, think about this. When I'm creating this content, is this a flex or am I actually making someone's life better? So if I shoot a video of me overlooking the Pacific Ocean from my house and it's just B-roll with like a little thing on top of it, there's no value. That's inspiration, it's a bit of a flex. But if I give somebody like on video, like say this one thing via text to improve show-up rates, and I use that as the content or the message of that video will do way better because it's something useful for the end user. So one of the frames that I like to use with my content as much as possible is what I'm posting going to make this person's life better? Is this useful to this individual? Or is it just me looking cool? And there's nothing wrong with you looking cool because at the end of the day, people are gonna buy you. So if I have a house on the Pacific Ocean and this is the desired lifestyle of a lot of the people that I serve, I'd be stupid not to post this type of aspirational stuff. But I can't make my whole content around that, right? Maybe I can use it as a backdrop while I'm shooting a video. I can kind of sneak it in subliminally. But a lot of people are just like, here's a shot of my ass. You can do it. Have an amazing week. Stay positive. Come on, make it useful. Okay, number 6 is I produce a lot of stuff on YouTube, and we have a couple of video editors who take in clips out of these YouTube videos to post them as reels on our Instagram. And we have found that our worst performing content is that. So taking clips of longer form videos and posting them as smaller clips or reels perform horribly for us. 2 things there. Number 1, maybe our video editors just didn't do a good enough job pulling out the most important big idea. I look at some of these clips, I'm like, that's shit. Why would I ever post this? In the grand scheme of a longer form video, it's fine, but in a 30-second video, this is completely useless. What am I saying here? There's no value. That could be a communication feedback thing with our team for sure. Or it could just be the nature of the content. Like, I don't know if people would rather just actually have me speak natively to my camera. That might work better. So that's just something that we've recognized. And that's important because now we can divert more of our resources away from clipping YouTube videos to doing other stuff that might be a better use of our time and money. Number 7, client testimonials don't get as much reach, but they have the biggest number of external link clicks and direct messages. So If you're a health expert and you're sharing testimonials before and afters, keep doing that. Even though it may not reach a lot of people, like I said with the stories, it's constantly planting the seed in your prospect's mind that you are awesome at what you do. They might be scrolling, they might be at Starbucks, they might be sitting in the toilet, scrolling through, and they see this before and after, and they stop for a second, they see your name, they're like, and they keep scrolling. And that is massively powerful. It's the same reason why the Coca-Colas of the world advertise with no call to action. It's because just by seeing their logo, you're like, Coke, oh yeah, top of mind, tip of tongue. And so I look at a lot of content on Instagram like that as branding. Who cares if no one does anything with it? But when they do, they're like, okay, this person's legit. So it doesn't get as much reach. We have found that, again, depending on the caption that goes with it, it will get more external link clicks. Like, here's so-and-so's story. They went from this to this. If you want to see how, click the link in bio, right? Or send me a DM if you want the same process. Number 8. Actually, this is a very big finding for our social media manager. I call this the invisible metric, and this is actually very similar with email. You only see what you see. So people are watching your content. You might think that like you're shadow banned. You're not shadow banned. Your content's just not good enough. My content's just not good enough. It's not shadow banned. But dude, just get better. So it's very easy to think that people are not seeing our stuff, that the algorithm isn't showing our stuff until you post something very personal. And then all of it changes. So the most engaging posts that I've posted on Instagram in the past couple months have to do with the realization of our house in Mexico and that journey, putting down our dog. Remember, like it's the same number of people that we, roughly around 100,000 people as of this video. It's not like we all of a sudden had 1 million people. It's the same 100,000 people, but for some reason that post with its emotional connection had hundreds of comments. So it's like people have been seeing this stuff, but it just wasn't worthwhile engaging in, like commenting or whatever. But as soon as I post something more close to home, more emotional, more connection-based, boom. And it's important to remember this because it's a good reminder that most people will not do most with most of your stuff. Like they will not comment or they will not share. They won't save most of your stuff. It doesn't mean that they're not paying attention. When you have an email list of 100,000 people and you send out an email and 20,000 people open the email and 1,000 people click the link in the email, the invisible metric is the 19,000 people who didn't do anything. Just think about that. We've been part of that invisible metric where you open the email, you don't do anything with the email in terms of clicking, but you've consumed it and it deposited something into your bank accounts, metaphorically speaking, like, oh, this was useful. Next time so-and-so sends me an email, I'm going to be sure to check it out. And so this invisible metric is really, really important to remember because even though people don't comment on your stuff, even if they don't share it, even if they don't save it, it doesn't mean it's not adding value to their life. So people are watching, they're just not engaging. And it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with your content. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't, but you'll notice the difference when you post something very deeply personal. All of a sudden, people come out of the woodworks to pouring. And number 9. So when our new social media manager came on a couple months ago, she's like, oh yeah, we have this huge spike in followers. Like it must have been, the content. I'm like, slow down. You're awesome. But I just want to show you what's happening on the ads. Like we just doubled our ad spend last week. And here's the thing. The biggest spikes in followers are usually going to happen as a byproduct of more ad spend. When we look at what really moves the needle in our business, it's ads, 100%. But content supports that because in today's day and age, people click on an ad. They don't just they open a new browser and they go search you up on the internet. They go type your name in, your URL came reviews, your URL came scams, healthpreneur reviews, healthpreneur scams. Trust me, I optimized for all of that stuff. You'll not find anything bad because I've got a good reputation, but you'll find thousands of videos to support it. But what they do is they might Google your name, they might go to Instagram, they might go somewhere else, and this whole flywheel ecosystem starts to kick in. That's why nowadays it's not a linear sales process anymore. It used to be a lot more. Ad, opt-in page, offer, next step. Now it's like ad, open up new browser, search this person, go all over the place, make sure they're real. And that's the nature of the beast. So when we're running ads on Meta, so Facebook and Instagram, and someone clicks the name at the top of the ad, like URL Cam Health Runner, they'll be directed to our Instagram profile if they're on Instagram. And so they see our stuff and they follow us. Cool. So our biggest spikes in followers are really when we start increasing our ad spend pretty dramatically. And it's literally like cause and effect. We double the ad spend, we double the followers. We triple the ad spend, we triple the followers. And here's the cool thing, and it's not something I would have thought was possible, is we used to run a couple months worth of Instagram profile visits. So we'd set up an ad, it was content, and the purpose of the ad was to visit Instagram profile. And that was one way of engaging or growing the following. We could engage followers in the DMs, the whole bit. But we found was like 90% of those followers were complete garbage. I'm like, why would we keep doing these? So we turned it off. And then we just kept running our ads like we normally have to our perfect client pipeline. And nothing changed, but we started getting followers, and we just noticed the difference in followers. And the people who are following us as a strategic byproduct of seeing our normal funnel ads were exactly the types of people we want to be speaking with. So we're like, why would we run profile visit ads when we could just run more of the ads that lead into a conversion anyways? And then a lot of those people follow us on Instagram as a byproduct. It's kind of like killing two birds with one stone. So I'm not saying you should run ads to grow your following. I'm saying if you have a proven conversion system, like in our case, the perfect client pipeline, just spend more money on it because you're going to grow your business with that. And as a byproduct, your social following will increase, and most likely with the right people, because Facebook Meta gives you what you ask for. If you want clicks, you'll get people who click. If you want profile visits, you'll get people who visit profiles. They're not necessarily your best people. So when you optimize for conversion events later in the funnel, lead, call booked, etc., Facebook shows your ads to those people. And those people also just happen to click your link and go to your Instagram profile. They're probably a better quality lead to begin with. So it's cool. Sometimes it's not even your content that does the thing. But here's the important thing to remember. No one's going to follow you if you just put shit up on Instagram. So when people come to your profile, they need a reason to follow you. So your content needs to be good. Even though it may not be found by everyone, when they do find you, they need a reason to follow you. So those are 9 unexpected lessons that I've learned, especially in the past year, after posting 5,261 posts on Instagram over the past couple of years. And our social media manager was actually telling me just last week, the cool thing about what's been happening for us is that our best, most engaging content has all happened in the past 30 days. And I think that's a huge kudos to her and what she's been obviously been able to do with the department, because what that means is that our best stuff is most recent. If our most engaging best content was 6 or 12 months ago, that'd be a problem because it means we're moving in the wrong direction, but we're moving in the right direction. And for us, it's been a slow grow. Again, we're about 100,000 followers. We don't have the best engagement, whatever. But I know that the stuff we're putting out is useful and it's only getting better. So let me know in the comments below. While you're here, remember to subscribe to the channel because we have hundreds of other videos to help you build a successful health coaching business without the grind. And I appreciate you taking the time for joining me once again, and I'll see you in the next video. Creating a membership site is a complete waste of time. And in this video, I'm going to share with you 5 reasons why, so you can save your time and make more money in the service of more people.